No electricity. Not for a few hours, not for days, but for 15 whole years. No lights, no internet, no planes, no phones. Would humanity survive or fall apart? Our story begins in a time before everything collapsed, in the bustling city of Chicago. Little Charlie is watching cartoons. Her younger brother Danny is lost in an iPad game. Their mom, Rachel, chats on her phone. Everything is normal, until it isn't. Suddenly, their father, Ben, storms into the house, panicked. He tells Rachel they don't have much time. Rachel, confused, asks, "What are you talking about?" Before he can answer, the lights begin to flicker. Ben's laptop starts downloading something, some kind of mysterious file. Within seconds, it hits 100%. Ben pulls out a USB drive, tucks it into a strange metallic pendant, and tells them nothing more. Meanwhile, on a highway, Miles and his friend are stuck in traffic. Car headlights begin to die out, one by one. Above them, planes lose power and crash from the sky. Transformers explode. Even satellite towers go dark. Then we zoom out into space. From orbit, we watch as Earth slowly goes dark, like someone's pulling a giant black sheet over the planet. North, east, south, the world is shutting down. And for the younger generation, a world without internet feels like the end of the world. Fast forward 15 years. This event, now known as the Blackout Day, changed everything. Electricity never came back. Every device powered by tech, from car engines to jet planes, is now just junk. Even tiny batteries stopped working. With no medicine, diseases spread. Fires broke out. But there were no fire trucks to stop them. Factories shut down. Food ran out. Humanity collapsed into chaos. Governments fell. Militias rose. The United States fractured into 6 regions: the Monroe Republic, Georgia Federation, Plains Nation, Texas, California, Commonwealth, and miles of barren wasteland. Most people abandoned the cities. They moved to quieter, safer places. One such place is a small, peaceful village in the Monroe Republic, a colony of just 100 people. Among them lives Ben, now a widower, who lost his wife years ago. He started dating Maggie, a British doctor. His children, Charlie and Danny, are now older, but Danny prefers being alone. He suffers from asthma, which makes survival even harder. One day, Charlie and Danny venture into the woods. There, they stumble upon an abandoned van. Curious, Charlie enters. Inside, she finds a mini fridge, a forgotten relic of the past. Touching it, she suddenly remembers her childhood, the day the lights went out, the day her life changed forever. That day, Charlie found an old mini fridge, and with it, the memory of the last ice cream she ever had. Melted, sweet, and unforgettable. It was the last taste of the old world. One morning, during her usual walk through the woods, Charlie is caught off guard. The Monroe Militia, military forces of the Monroe Republic, storm into their peaceful colony without warning. Each soldier bears a distinct tattoo on their wrist, a symbol of their allegiance. They've come to collect taxes, but these aren't ordinary dues. They're extortion masked as law. Ben knows this isn't just about taxes. Something worse is coming. He rushes to his best friend Aaron and hands him the locket, the same one we saw in the beginning with the mysterious USB inside. Ben pleads, "No matter what happens, don't let them take this." Moments later, Major Tom Neville, the ruthless leader of the Monroe forces, arrives. He demands Ben's daughter, Charlie, come with him. He questions her about her uncle, Miles, who's been missing for over 15 years. Charlie insists she knows nothing. Tension rises. Fear spreads. The soldiers are about to leave when suddenly, Danny, Ben's son, arrives. He points a crossbow directly at them. He's scared, desperate, protective. Ben tries to calm him down, but before anyone can stop him, Danny fires. A militia soldier falls dead. Villagers attack in rage, but the militia is too powerful. Dozens of innocent people are killed. Ben is spared. Tom leaves, but Danny is captured. When Charlie returns home, she finds Ben bleeding out. Her world shatters. With his final breath, he tells her the truth. Danny's been kidnapped, and their only hope now is Miles, hiding somewhere in Chicago. He dies in her arms. Charlie breaks down, but there's no time to grieve. She packs her things and prepares to leave, alone. But Aaron and Maggie refuse to let her go by her. Charlie doesn't like it, but she has no choice. And so, the three set off, through a shattered world filled with danger. Over time, hardship strengthens their bond. The next morning, Charlie walks to a stream to fetch water and sees a boy, Nate. Strangers aren't trusted anymore. The world after the blackout has turned even kind faces into possible threats, but Nate doesn't hurt her. He simply asks her name and lets her go. That night, the trio finds a wrecked airplane to sleep in, but bad luck follows them. The place turns out to be a hideout for a scavenger gang. Thieves arrive, and one of them separates Charlie at knife point. Maggie, sensing something's off, uses her quick wit. She tricks the gang into drinking poisoned whiskey. They vomit, collapse, die. Meanwhile, the last thief tries to assault Charlie. Suddenly, Nate appears out of nowhere and saves her life. The next morning, Nate walks with the group. He tells them he's also heading to Chicago, But Maggie is wary. She doesn't know this boy. She pulls Charlie aside and warns her, "Don't trust strangers so easily. Not anymore." In the next scene, while Major Tom and his troops are resting, Danny sees an opportunity and tries to escape. He unlocks his handcuffs and runs away. But not long after, he suffers a severe asthma attack and collapses near a house, unconscious. When he wakes up hours later, he finds a girl standing over him, pointing a gun at him. She introduces herself as Grace and asks where he came from. Danny explains that he was kidnapped by some people and managed to escape. Hearing this, Grace lowers her weapon and hands him an asthma inhaler, revealing that it belonged to her late son. Meanwhile, Charlie and her group finally arrive in Chicago, which is part of the Monroe Republic. The city is overgrown with plant life, filled with fishermen, and horse-drawn carts have replaced cars. Based on intel from a friend, they head to a hotel and question the bartender about someone named Miles. At first, the bartender denies knowing anyone by that name, but when Charlie mentions her recently deceased father, he admits that he is indeed Miles, but had been hiding his identity. Later, Miles pulls Charlie aside for a private conversation. Charlie tearfully explains how the militia brutally murdered her father and kidnapped her brother, Danny. She asks why their family is being targeted. Miles reveals that her father must have known something about the blackout. He explains that General Monroe, now a dictator, dreams of controlling not just the country but the entire world. And for that, he needs powerful weapons, fighter planes, tanks, even nuclear bombs. Because Ben, Charlie and Danny's father, was one of the few people who knew the real cause of the blackout, Monroe believed he could stop it. This revelation leaves Charlie even more worried about Danny. She begs Miles to help, but surprisingly, he refuses, saying the mission is too risky and she's not ready for it. Upset, Charlie prepares to leave. Seeing her distressed, Nate rushes toward Miles to confront him. But suddenly, Miles grabs Nate's arm, revealing a secret tattoo. It turns out Nate is actually a member of the Monroe militia and had only joined Charlie's group to get to Miles. Everyone is shocked, and Nate quickly flees. Despite their location being exposed, Miles refuses to leave. He believes he can take on the soldiers alone. Charlie and the others offer to fight alongside him, but Miles angrily tells them to stay away. Soon after, Nate returns, this time with a large squad of militia soldiers to capture or kill Miles. Despite being outnumbered, Miles fights with unmatched sword skills and takes down several men one by one. Charlie and her friends return to join the fight. In the chaos, one of the soldiers tries to kill Charlie, but Nate suddenly reappears and kills the attacker, saving her. Moments later, Miles defeats the militia captain and ends the battle. Now, with the path clear, Miles agrees to help the group find Danny. Everyone feels a renewed sense of hope. Suddenly, Miles is hit with a flashback from the night of the blackout. We see him and his friend Sebastian Monroe rushing out of a car and heading to a Marine Corps base, revealing that they were once part of the military. Monroe, the same man now leading the oppressive regime, was once Miles' closest friend. Meanwhile, Major Tom and his men follow Danny's footprints to Grace's house. Grace tries to protect Danny, but as soon as Major Tom threatens to kill her, she steps aside, and Tom storms into her home to capture Danny. After they leave, Grace quietly goes down to the basement and pulls out a mysterious locket, identical to the one Aaron has. When she presses the locket, a light bulb in the room flickers on. She plugs the locket into a computer and begins chatting with someone online. On the other end, the person chatting with Grace is relieved to hear that the militia still doesn't know the secret they're hiding. Meanwhile, Miles takes Charlie's group to meet an old ally, an explosives expert named Nora. He tells Charlie that if they want to rescue Danny, they'll need someone with Nora's combat skills. Suddenly, they're ambushed by a group of enemies, but once again, Miles takes them all down with ease. He then captures one of the attackers and interrogates him to find Nora's location. That's when we learn Nora is being held captive by the militia and is currently being forced to work as a servant. That night, Miles decides to head out alone to rescue Nora, insisting the mission is too dangerous for the others. He tells the group to meet him in Indiana in 2 weeks and heads off into the night. The next morning, Maggie and Aaron discover that stubborn Charlie has secretly followed Miles. They're upset, but they have no choice now. So Aaron gives Maggie the locket Ben had given him and mentions that Ben also told them to meet a woman in Grant Park, Grace. Believing Grace may hold the key to restoring electricity to the world, Aaron and Maggie set out to find her, even though they're still worried about Charlie. Elsewhere, Major Tom and his soldiers are tracking Danny's footprints when they hear a gunshot. Following the sound, they reach a small house. Inside, they realize that regular people in Monroe Republic aren't allowed to keep personal firearms or ammo, which is why they use crossbows and handmade weapons instead. Tom threatens the owner of the house, demanding he hand over all his weapons. Afraid that he'll be killed even if he cooperates, the man pulls out a gun and shoots one of the soldiers standing outside. In retaliation, Tom shoots him dead. We then cut back to Danny, still terrified and in captivity. At the militia base, we're finally introduced to the man behind all the chaos, General Monroe himself. He asks one of his subordinates about their weapons, but when the frightened man fails to answer, Monroe kills him without hesitation. Monroe then walks into another room, where we see a shocking reveal. Ben's wife, Rachel, whom we all believe to be dead, is alive and being held captive. Monroe coldly tells her that Ben is dead, and the news leaves Rachel devastated. Meanwhile, Charlie spends the entire day wandering the woods until she finally finds Miles. At first, he's furious with her for not listening to him, but when she tells him about Danny's asthma condition, his anger fades. As they move through the area, they come across a large group of workers manually dragging a helicopter. Monroe is preparing for the day electricity returns, and he's already making plans to use high-powered machines to rule. Among the laborers, Miles spots Nora. He tells Charlie that rescuing her will be nearly impossible. There are too many armed guards, some equipped with sniper rifles. Still, Miles is determined to save his old friend. He begins planning the rescue and waits for nightfall. As night sets in, Charlie creates a distraction while Miles sneaks in to rescue Nora. As Nora creates a distraction, she quickly hides behind the guards and eventually manages to rescue Miles. But instead of being thankful, Nora is furious. She reveals that she had purposely let herself be captured because she needed to steal a sniper rifle from the guards. Those weapons were nearly impossible to find anywhere else. Later, Miles pleads with Nora to help him rescue his niece, Charlie. She agrees, but only if he helps her steal the sniper rifle first. With no other choice, Miles accepts her condition. The three of them, Miles, Nora, and Charlie, head to a nearby shack where they begin planning their next move. Nora creates a makeshift explosive from gunpowder. Their plan is risky. One of them will have to approach the guards directly and start shooting. They decide that Miles and Nora will pose as captured prisoners, while Charlie will be the last line of attack. Before setting out, Miles instructs them. Once the guards are distracted or down, they'll take out the rest. Moments later, Charlie hides a weapon up her sleeve, pretending to be a lost traveler. She slowly approaches the guards. As soon as she gets close, she quickly pulls out her weapon and kills them. Before the others can react, Miles and Nora jump in and take down the remaining guards. After the battle, as they begin freeing the workers, Nora reveals that she stole the sniper rifle for her rebel allies. Meanwhile, back at Grace's home, someone breaks in. He too has a glowing pendant like the one Aaron had. It seems Grace isn't the only one with access to the secret energy source. Elsewhere, Miles tries to convince Nora to leave the rebels, but she refuses. We learn that Miles and Nora were once a couple, but had broken up after the blackout changed everything. Later, they arrive at the rebel hideout where they are welcomed by a priest. He's glad Nora brought the sniper rifle, but he has bad news. The militia has been attacking their people. Inside the base, they find several wounded fighters, and one of them is missing, likely captured and interrogated. Sensing danger, Miles urges everyone to evacuate. Nora agrees, but asks for 30 minutes so she can treat the wounded. This decision turns out to be a mistake. Soon, Captain Adam arrives with the militia. To buy some time, Miles sends their best shooter to the rooftop with the sniper rifle. The plan works temporarily. The sniper injures several militia members and forces them to retreat. As night falls, Miles and the group begin digging a tunnel under a wall to escape, but the plan fails. The wall collapses and Miles falls into a hole, ruining their only escape route. To make matters worse, their rooftop sniper is killed. The militia storms the basement. Miles, skilled with a sword, quickly takes out several enemies and captures Captain Adam, locking him in another room. As the tension escalates, Miles proposes a risky deal. He will surrender himself to the Monroe militia if they promise not to harm his group. Surprisingly, the captain accepts the offer, possibly fearing for his own life. Miles is soon handed over to the militia. We flash back to 2 weeks after the blackout. Miles had gone to Chicago with his best friend, Sebastian Monroe, searching for his brother. On the road, they encountered two men. One was savagely beating the other. Acting on instinct, Miles pulled out his gun and shot the attacker, saving the beaten man's life. That man turns out to be none other than Captain Adam. It's why he respects Miles so deeply to this day. Miles once saved him. Back in the present, as the militia escorts Miles across a bridge, an explosion suddenly erupts, startling everyone. Taking advantage of the chaos, Nora and Charlie swoop in and rescue Miles from the militia's grip. Before leaving, Miles and his team set off one final explosion to ensure they won't be followed. Meanwhile, Maggie and Aaron, still on a mission to find Grace, finally arrive at her home, but the house is empty. Grace has already left. Aaron, who claims to be a former Google employee, says he knows a lot about computers. He heads down to the basement and discovers Grace's setup. The equipment looks newly assembled, clear evidence that electricity had recently been active here. Aaron spends several hours trying to figure out the system, but he doesn't uncover anything useful. Exhausted, he heads upstairs and shows Maggie the computer. Just then, something unexpected happens. Aaron's pendant starts glowing, and the nearby headphones begin playing music. Suddenly, Maggie's old iPhone comes alive. For the first time in years, she sees images of her children. The emotions hit hard. It's a powerful moment of connection through lost technology, through hope that somehow still exists in this dark world. What would you do if you finally saw a glimpse of the family you lost years ago? Like, share, and subscribe. Press the bell icon so you never miss the next intense love drama or emotional recap.